we don't want to complicate things. Collagen is not going to do you any good if you are not sleeping.
Absolutely.
It's not a magic. It's not going to help you make up. It's like, oh, just sprinkle some magic, sprinkle some collagen on it. It'll be okay. And all of a sudden you're going to have your, 7.5 hours sleep, and instead of being sleep deprived for the past 4 nights. It's not magic. Nothing is. You're going to have to, nothing is going to work if you don't have the water, the sleep, and the food list nailed down. Nothing else is going to work.
I'm Christy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I am your host and the owner of Code Red, Christy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And boy, Carrie, you're getting to be I'm going to say you're getting to be, what have we done? Like 60 some of these, like you're on almost every single, but I always want you to know how much I appreciate you being on these episodes with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, as I was picking out what to wear. I'm wearing my America t-shirt for those of you that are listening.
It's America.
As I was putting it on in the closet, my husband came in and he goes, "What are you going to do?" I go, "Oh, I'm going to podcast with Christy today." And I go, "I'd like to apply for the job where I do this all day." And he starts laughing. So I know I've said that before, but I just want to say it again. If anyone's hiring, if you need someone to talk all day.
Hey, you start your own podcast and do it. I'm telling you, it gets old really quick.
I was going to say, after about 3 or 4 hours, I'll be like, I'm ready just to answer some emails.
Yeah, right. I think that's the nice thing about working for Code Red. We always have something new that we're doing. So
true.
We are thankful that all of you guys are here with us today. Thank you for rating and reviewing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. None of that goes unnoticed, and we really appreciate it. There's a reason why this podcast is ranked so high, and it's because of you, and it's because you, I don't know, the way we talk to you, it resonates with you. And we know that. We're real, and in a world full of Photoshop, filtered, and fake, this is refreshing, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I always have maintained, and I will, that people can sniff out a phony. People can tell when you aren't being authentic. And I think that's one of the things about us is like, I'm talking to you literally the way I talked to you right before we started recording. It's except for maybe I'm looking at the camera and not at your face. Whereas before I might would have been looking at your face. So
And I like that compliment that I receive is, "Oh, Christy, you're the exact same when someone sees me at the mall or sees me at a gas station. Oh, Christy, you're exact same on, I just called somebody last night. I called a Rebel. She's one of my VIP clients, which for those of you guys who don't know, Rebel for Life Rebels are, that's our VIP program. And I only open that up once or twice a year. And you have to apply to be in the VIP program. But I take very good care of my VIPs. And I noticed she was really upset. So I just called her up. And she said, you sound the same on the phone as you do on your videos. And that was a huge compliment to me.
And that is one of the things that I like best about you, not only as, as your employee, but also as your sister, is that you are the same person in the hotel after we get done with an event as you are on this podcast, as you are at a book signing, as you are anywhere. You're the same person. And I don't think that there are very many people like that in this world. I really don't.
Man, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you again to all of you. Let's jump right into today's subject. We're talking about nailing the basics. It's I think this comes up a lot, but we don't really think about it. But it comes up quite a bit. And we see people that are barely dipping their toe into the lifestyle, and then they want to take it all the way to the extreme, and they don't have the basics nailed.
They really don't, Christy. And it's frustrating because I see a couple things. I see that situation, and then I see people that are having trouble and struggling with the Code Red lifestyle, but they aren't nailing the basics. So I see kind of you're seeing one side, I'm kind of seeing the other side. And it's just so simple when we try to bring them back around to that.
Right. And they, the challenge, the 10-pound takedown monthly challenge, we have challenges, they're 30-day challenges. We have them rolling every month, rolling challenges. That's the point of the challenge, is to nail the basics. Right. But I think that people, instead of just keeping it simple, like following the rules list, there are 10 simple rules, following the food list, following the do's and don'ts, just, it's so basic. And just eat off this side, don't eat off that side. Instead of just doing that, my Lord, they just want to all of a sudden take off with it. And they want to test their ketones, which is not something we endorse or want you doing. I want to test my ketones on a Keto Mojo reader, a blood glucose monitor. And they want to get a continuous CGM. They want to get, they want to go to a naturopath and get all these supplements. Like they just go crazy, and yet they're not even sleeping at night.
Right. And like I said to you, I was trying to think of examples. I have a couple of them, but one of them is you're going to drink organic, mushrooms of the earth. The monks, they ground it themselves. You're going to drink this tea that probably is really good for you, but you're still going through the drive-through at McDonald's. It's like, I really think instead of going to these strange extremes and trying to find what supplement's going to do this and what kind of collagen can I add to this and how can I up these chemicals in my body? It's like, oh, hold on. Don't biohack. Let's just stick with real food, water, and sleep. And when you've got that, then you can start talking about the other things.
I think you hit the nail on the head by saying biohack. And there are people out there, everybody knows I'm a huge Chris Gethin fan. He happens to be my neighbor. He was my coach for a while. We are friends and colleagues, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But he is searching for that 1%. Yes. He is searching for that extra. He already does everything right. Yes. But that 1% for him would be sleeping in this tent on his bed that cuts out all EMF light, all EMF waves.
Really?
And yeah, like the 1% is, is like that, having that one little supplement. But see, guys, he is already nailing the basics. He's so far beyond the basics. And we've got people, and Carrie, I love your story about the ICU patient that's smoking out of the window. I don't think you really can do this anymore.
Not anymore. You could back in the day.
Who is asking for filtered water. And you're like, wait a minute, I've got you on you know the story.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's really, we're worried about your oxygenation and whether or not you're going to end up on a ventilator, and you're asking me for filtered water. Let's fry the big fish. And okay, so Christy, we have a page. Christy knows this. I'm telling this to everyone else. It's called the Life page, Code Red Life. And it's kind of like where everyone goes after a challenge. It's like this big, huge meeting group of people. And part of my staff, Christy and I's staff's responsibilities, and I always help as well, is to get on that page and approve posts, because we want to keep it positive. We want to keep it clean. We want to keep it always on the up and up, no confusing posts. So we have some moderation going on, which is smart. Even my Kentucky chicken trading page has moderation. That's all I'm going to say. So they like to moderate. Everyone moderates. Anyway, today I went on, Christy, and someone said, I'm so discouraged. I'm gaining weight. I am frustrated. I need help. Somebody help me. And then in the next line, it was, my sleep's been horrible because of this thing happening. And I haven't been drinking my water. And also I'm not going poop. And I thought to myself, and I wrote, and probably I wasn't the one to answer that. I probably should have let a staff answer, because they would have been like, loves, or, how can we encourage you? Because Christy's staff is amazing. But I said, so I'm confused. Like, you just explained to me what's going on. You aren't nailing the basics. So don't complain about having trouble. Again, complain, but don't seek out what's the magic answer when you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
That's the magic answer.
Right. Exactly. And I like to say there is no, I like to turn it around to sound a little sassy and saying there ain't no magic pill, because People Magazine contacted me a few years ago and asked me, what's the magic? What is the magic combination of trying to get the body you want? Because I train celebrities, and I was like, there's no magic. Every single one of us has to follow the rules. Yep. And so nailing the basics, and we see this every single day, and we see people that try to look for that edge. They're looking for that 1%. They're looking for that, either the shake or the pill or the diet food or that extra that they can do, but they're not even sleeping. They're not drinking their water, and they're not sticking to the food list. And you wonder, you won't be able to get that edge. We might as well just take down the whole no, I'm not saying you shouldn't eat clean, but if you're not sleeping and drinking your water, it doesn't really matter what you're going to eat. It does, but it doesn't, because it's just not going to do a hill of beans good. Your body senses the lack of sleep as stress and will hang on to body fat as a way to protect you. We know this. This is one of the foundational beliefs and teachings of Code Red, but people forget that, and they are looking for that extra without nailing the basics.
Or they'll put up, I notice this too. Now on our paid coaching pages, people can post their food logs. We have people on custom programs and otherwise track their food on an app called Lose It. And that's not a Code Red app, although don't we wish it was? I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, part of it is they'll post their food logs and someone will say to them, I kid you not, what's in that vitamin you're taking at 5? I'm like, wait a minute. How much you're not drinking your water? I don't even put up your logs I do want people to do that, but if you aren't nailing the basics, it's so fundamental. And also, Christy, on kind of to twist that, when people get off track, and we've done a lot of podcasts on getting off track, they get so worried about all these issues on getting back on track, when the truth is all they have to do is go back to the basics. Mm-hmm. That's all they have to do to get back on track.
And this is why New Year's resolutions, people will fail them within the first 20 days of the New Year, because they take too much on. They take on too much. They want to exercise. They want to lose weight. They want to do this. They want to spend more time with their spouse. And then they just end up not being able to keep up any of it. If you don't nail the water and the sleep and the food list, and you won't be able to do anything else. But without, I would rather see someone in their New Year's resolution just pick 1 to 2 things that they know they can keep up the whole year, and just get those down. Also, we have people that come on the challenge, and they're 2 weeks into the challenge, and then all of a sudden they think they've got the basics nailed. But even for Carrie and I, and then, well, let me finish the sentence. They come on, they think they have the basics nailed, and then they try to take it to they go way overboard with it, and they try to take it to the next level after 10 days of being on the challenge. Well, Carrie and I have to do a daily recommitment to just the basics. So you don't even the best of us, we have to concentrate on getting back to square one, where we're making sure we get our water in every day, that we make sure we protect our sleep boundaries and our bedroom boundaries. And then we're making sure we're only eating real food. Even the best of us can get off track if we're not careful.
It was funny, Christy. 2 things come to mind. I'm holding my finger in the shape of the letter so I don't remember, so I don't forget. That's a joke. That's a thing that Christy and I do. Like if I want to tell her something about our sister Laura, I'll hold the letter L in my hand until I think about, remind me to tell you about this. And I'll sometimes show her that. That's a weird thing we do. Anyway, so let me put my hand back in the letter shape. So this morning I went to the gym. That's a part of my health journey. And I felt like a little tired, and we're doing the exercises. And I can do them for the 30 seconds, minute, we're kind of doing a HIIT training sort of thing. And I felt tired. And then I went back to, you didn't do the basics, Carrie. You did not get enough sleep last night, and that's on me. But why do I expect myself to? Then what happens is a cascade of events, because I didn't get the basics. Then I think I'm hungry when I'm probably just thirsty, and I got started late on my water, and I'm tired. So that makes me think I'm hungry. It makes my body crave sugar so I can get my energy back up quickly. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just the basics. It's like, even I have to go, well, you didn't get the basics right today, Carrie.
I think people sometimes think they're maybe not too good, but they're beyond the basics, and they don't need to worry about that's beginner stuff. That's what you learn on your first challenge. But that's why we have people that have done every single challenge, and they are in leadership with Code Red, because they realize that the basics are so important. And people ask us do you teach other things during your monthly challenge? And I say, we will always teach our foundational core beliefs. Yes. And that's what we believe. And so I think it helps people to repeat challenges because we're always teaching the basics. And I think a real dangerous situation to be in is when you get into leadership with Code Red, if you're a senior leader or a coach, or you're on staff and you just think you got this. And well, I just got this. And then pretty soon you're getting some weights coming back on, or you're getting off track a little bit and you're getting headaches during the day because you're just and you haven't even nailed the basics, but because you're on staff, you think you know everything. Man, I mean, all of us have got to make sure that we I know we're repeating it a lot on this podcast, but really just nailing the foundational basics.
I laugh. Sometimes I'll have, somebody that gets out of hand and I'll be like, oh, it's time to jerk their chain. Now that's not a very nice way. We don't believe in abusing animals. I would never, but sometimes it's true. You have to kind of, hold on. Where did we get off track here? You know what I mean? Okay. So I had a rebel email me, Christy, and she was OG Code Red back in the day when you were coaching and then I came on coaching. And she had lost quite a bit of weight and then gained a significant portion of it back. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. And she had a custom program. So of course she could start using those numbers again. Not that his stuff doesn't go away. And I said and I wrote to her and I said, it's so good to have you back. And then I wrote, today, can you just drink your water? That's all I want you to do today. Nothing else. Don't worry about the weight you gained. There's no judgment. Don't worry about macros. Don't worry about carbs. Don't worry about sugar. Don't worry about any of that. Today, can you just drink your water? And instead of trying to think about the entirety of the Code Red program, which we do keep simple, but still, that was too much at that moment for her. She wrote back and she said, yes, I can drink my water today. That's all I want you to do. And in the last couple of weeks, she's gone on to lose quite a bit of weight. She's got herself back on track. And it's just, again, I don't want to go, well, oh my gosh, well, okay, have you pre-planned 27 meals? No, just today, drink your water. Let's start there.
Yeah, that is so true. Almost sometimes I think that the challenge participants, they do so well because they don't know anything except the basics. Yeah, and they do them, they nail them. They do them really well every day consistently. And they haven't overcomplicated. They haven't watched every single video I've ever put out on YouTube. And they haven't just binged on my stuff and complicated things. They only know what they only know. They know that I want them to track their water, their weight every day, and their sleep every day. And the three little the little boxes, little check marks, and just follow the food list. And so it's real simple, and they do so well. But sometimes where you get deep into Code Red, and it's not even, you can just go down so many rabbit holes. Not even because we cause people to. We don't make things complicated. Even on our level, we don't make it complicated, but people just want to make it complicated. Collagen is a great example of this. You mentioned collagen.
That is a great example.
There is data, research, and science to back up the benefits of collagen. There's no question. But we don't want to complicate things. Collagen is not going to do you any good if you are not sleeping.
Absolutely.
It's not a magic. It's not going to help you make up. It's like, just sprinkle some magic, sprinkle some collagen on it. It'll be okay. And all of a sudden you're going to have your, 7.5 hours sleep, and instead of being sleep deprived for the past 4 nights. It's not magic. Nothing is. You're going to have to, nothing is going to work if you don't have the water, the sleep, and the food list nailed down. Nothing else is going to work.
I remember, me listening to somebody that is a close friend of yours on Instagram one time. And of course they have a little bit different philosophy on nutrition and whatever. And that's fine. I love to listen to different people because then it gives you a good idea. And they were talking about this one supplement. This is really going to help. I think it was CLA. Do you remember this, Christy?
Yes, I do.
So it was, which is conjugated linoleic acid, which is, a supplement out there. And I was like, you guys, I fell back into that trap. And I was like, because Christy and I talk like this on our phones because we have a speaker system. I was like, hey, Christy, what do you think about CLA? Should I get it? And here I am. I'm no different than the days when I did FinFin. I'm no different than the days when I tried that stupid thermogenic burn. It's no different than any of those days. That moment, I don't know what I was thinking. And Christy's like, Carrie, it's the 1%. And I was like, I'm not training for a figure competition. Obviously, I'm not an elite level athlete. Instead of spending your money on collagen or that or thermal burn busters or whatever, how about you just go to bed an hour earlier? Wow, what a thought.
Because there is no supplement out there that's going to be as powerful as going to bed on time, as a good full night's sleep. And there's just nothing out there that's going to replace, it's energy drink. No, there's nothing out there that's going to be better than your water. And when I was an elite level athlete, when I was training for my world title fight in Beijing, I boxed. I fought as a professional for almost 8 years in 15 pro fights all over the world. And I've been everywhere and I've fought a lot of different girls. And when I was training for my big world title fight in Beijing, we were looking for that 1%. And I mean, we're talking about one of the top, I was number 2 in the world. So of course we're looking for that 1%. But if I've got a 65-year-old grandma who had both knees replaced, she's lost a lot of weight on Code Red, and she wants to start, she wants to start walking through her neighborhood with her, her Shiba Inu. She doesn't need to worry about getting a Polar FT4 heart rate monitor and keeping her heart rate in zone 2 and don't let it, and then the oxidative stress in the VO2 max. So grandma doesn't need to know all that. Grandma, just start walking, walk to the mailbox and back.
Yep. And it's such a trap. It is such a trap, Christy. I find that and again, I'm not putting down a segment of people, but I find that the exercise community, specifically the gym community, tends to kind of get over into this. It's like, oh, well, these shoes are good for weight training. And I'm kind of like, maybe I should just weight train. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there aren't things once you get into it to make things better, but it's so easy. It'd be like showing up for your first day of CrossFit, okay? And then you're like, I'm going to be in the CrossFit games. Now, Should you have hopes? Should you have dreams? Should you have goals? Absolutely. Yes, we want you to get your goal weight. Yes, we want you to feel better. But day one, don't worry about conjugated linoleic acid. It's okay. Just do the program,
And that's why we like when people get a custom program after going through the challenge first, because when you prove to yourself and us that you can show up every day for 30 days on a $47 challenge, you can prove to us that you can track your water, your weight, and your sleep each night. If you can prove to yourself and us that you can just do the basics, then you're ready for a $947 custom program that's going to demand a lot more of you. Yes, you are going to lose 10% of your body weight each month that you're on the program, but that's going to give you the confidence and give your spouse the confidence. I'm dropping $1,000 into a customized program, and I'm going to spend 3 months in a coaching group getting coached by Carrie, Christy, and all the coaches. I know I can do it because I nailed the challenge, which is the basic.
And even with that custom program, guys, it's not magic. Right. I'm going to be honest. Now, I think that your program, Christy, is the easiest hard way. The easiest hard way. Is that the fair way to say it? Because it's all hard, guys. Like Christy said, it's all hard. Like losing weight is hard. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your mind. It's a spirit and a soul journey, truly. And people forget that. And it's tough. But Code Red is the easiest hard way to do it. But you still have to nail the basics. Just because that custom program, you get it out of your mailbox, all of a sudden you don't go, look, I'm a size 6. Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, you still got to work.
It's not a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately.
I bring up my buddy Chris Gethin a lot, and of course I'm gesturing behind me because he's my neighbor. But when I was working with him for 12 weeks, I had some pretty huge goals that I wanted to reach. And because of my level, it required a level of a coach like Chris. And so, and he owns a supplement company called Caged Muscle. And yet, Carrie, he never brought up his supplements.
Really?
He just didn't, because he knew that there is no supplement on the market that is stronger than your diet. And if and people, even men and women who take testosterone, when they take anabolic steroids, and you still have to do the work. It's not you can't sit on the couch and eat pizza and take steroids and expect to just have these big, beautiful, voluptuous, thick, full muscles. You still have to do the work. So,
well, we know people that sit on the couch and take steroids. There are people with like autoimmune disorders, and what happens to them? Right. Unfortunately, it's very sad. It doesn't do anything. It's awful. Different kind of steroid. One's a corticosteroid and one's anabolic, but still it's the same idea, is that if you're not putting the work behind it, it doesn't matter what the gloves are, what the shoes are. It doesn't matter what color the water bottle is. It doesn't matter that it says carry code red strong on it. It doesn't matter that I have a Rebel Strong all day long tattooed on my left thigh. It doesn't matter that I have the stickers on my car. It matters that I actually do the work.
Joyce Meyer brings up having the Jesus bumper sticker on and the cross around your neck. But how are you treating the brand new checker in front of you who's messing up your order? Well, now I'm getting away from, that's the basics. The basics, I get that does go along.
It's the same thing with serving God. It's the same thing with your religion or whatever you believe. If you claim to be a Buddhist and you're screaming at everybody and kicking cats as you walk down the road, then you ain't much of a Hindu or a Buddhist, or and I'm not judging. I'm just saying, if you say you love Jesus and again, you got Jesus saves on both wrists, and you're beating the crap out of somebody after a bar fight on Friday, you're not getting the basics right. It's like people, here's a great example, marriage. Okay, marriage is hard. Let me tell you, I can tell you exactly how to screw up a marriage. I'm really good at that. Although I have a good marriage now. I've been in a couple of bad ones. So I think that sometimes we get like, we need to go to counseling, and not saying counseling isn't a good idea, because of course, Christy and I, our dad's a counselor. We need to work through the 5 love languages workbook. But Sally, you can't even roll over and say, good morning, honey. How are you? I love you today. Sally, do the basics. Give them a hug when you wake up. Like we want to get so complicated. Well, that's because when you were a child, your dad hit you with a belt, and now we fight over asparagus. Not that there's not validity to that, but let's just be nice to each other before worrying about all the other things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this could apply to so many things. And it's just so funny because Chris talked to me for 12 weeks about sleep and about water. And it's the same thing. And he's a celebrity trainer that trains bodybuilders, competitive bodybuilders all over the world. And he was talking to me about the same thing I'm talking to you guys about, talking about sleep. It is the number one rule in every area, every type of discipline, and for every person. It is the same. It's the number one biggest rule. And so you got to nail those, guys. It is just not going to do you any good to look for that magic edge, to look for that magic pill, to look for that edge, to look for that 1%. And if you have fallen off, I like what you said, sis. If you've fallen off, what can you do? And don't get so overwhelmed that, I'm going to clean out my cupboard. I'm going to completely, just
it's too much.
Your water. It's too much.
Yep.
And you won't be able to do all that. If you've been off the wagon for 6 months, you've gained all your weight back. There's just, some people can do cold turkey, but you're not. Let's just have you do one thing right. Can we just do one thing right? And can you just go to bed maybe an hour earlier, shut off your phone, flip it over so it doesn't glow, and go to bed earlier? Or can you just drink half a gallon today? Can you do a half a gallon?
Yep. And JJ Virgin talks about this too, Christy. She's like, sometimes people get so into biohacking that they're like, I'm going to get a red light, and I'm going to quit. I'm only going to eat low carbs, and I'm going to start with supplements, and I'm going to go to a doctor. And she says, it's too much. She says, pick one thing you're going to change. And then once you get that down, go to your next thing. And that's her theory, which I love, because it coincides with the way we think. It's okay that you came back. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so glad you're back. So today, just drink your water. That's all I need you to do today. Just focus on the basics. And we forget about the basics. And I don't know if it's because people are anxious, Christy, and they want to do so well that they want to overachieve it. It's just like that joke. I know y'all have heard it 3 times on this podcast, but I got to say it again. Anne Marie said she wanted to be an astronaut. And I said, you better learn your 9s times tables. Guys,
Yep.
Anne Marie's my 10-year-old daughter. Yeah. Guys, before you can biohack or do all this crazy stuff or start running 10Ks, you got to learn your 9s times tables. You just have to.
And one of the great things about Code Red, so many great coaching features. When you come on to our custom program or accountability group or even our challenge, you're going to get a Code Red certified coach, me or Carrie. We are going to answer you ourselves. And then you're going to get backed up by a senior leader. And then we all work together to get to the bottom of your issue. And so every day, many times a day, we have people that post, they just freak out. They just, I can't believe this is going wrong and this is going wrong. And I don't know why I'm not losing weight and all this stuff. And I've learned to look through all that and I sift through it until I see how much water they're drinking, how much sleep they're getting. Those are the first 2 things I look for. Hold on, back up. Because they just post all these metrics about themselves. And this is 0.2 and this percentage and this is, I'm like, they're taking it down to the very gram. And I know we really want them to be granular about it. But then when we get down to it, we find out they didn't even need to go into all that because all they just need to do is sleep another 30 minutes.
We used to work with someone who was an engineer, Christy, and they would send me a spreadsheet.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, yeah, but you aren't pooping. Like,
right.
Like I don't care at 8:42 a.m. that you had 1 gram of carbs. When's the last time you emptied your bowels? I mean, it gets so complicated when we just, there is a moment, there are times in weight loss when we have to get very granular and we really have to unpack the issue down to what it could be. I just got a text from a friend and she said, because she has my phone number, longtime friend, I'm struggling with, I've stalled, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, here we go. Just the basics. I'm not going to look at all your food. Although I can tell you right now what the problem is. I know exactly because I coached her so long. I can tell you exactly, and we'll talk about it later, Christy. I'm just saying. But good. But it's just how are the basics going? As a nurse, a lot of times people come into the ER and they'll have like 10 complaints. And you have to really look at that patient and you have to say, okay, are they having a stroke? Are they having a heart attack? You have to sift and you have to prioritize. Okay, your little toe hurts. Okay, that's going on the bottom. You know what I mean? And, you're having chest pain and left arm pain. Okay, that's going on the top. You know what I mean? And we have to kind of sift through what's happening with patients to be able to really assess them. It's the same thing with, and let me just tell you, Christy's great at it. Christy can look at a page and a half of an email gobbledygook and be like, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I'm like, how does she do it?
The getting back to the basics can apply to every area of your life. Your marriage. Are you just saying, I love you? Your kids, raising your kids. Are you just giving them a hug every morning and before they go to school? Your finances, are you getting back to the basics? If you don't try to Robert Kiyosaki it, try to just Dave Ramsey it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just put money in the freaking envelope. Like Dave Ramsey tells you, instead of worrying about an IRA, you got to pay off your credit cards before you open an IRA.
Exactly.
Same
Like
idea.
you got Dave Ramsey, you got Robert Kiyosaki. Let's start with Dave Ramsey. And then if you can nail this, you can go. If your fitness level, don't try to, we love you having big dreams and goals, but let's just have you just start walking to the mailbox and back. And then, and of course, exercise has nothing to do with weight loss, but let's just see if you can just hold yourself.
Can you move?
Just move. Like, instead of, I want to be an Olympic swimmer. All right. Well, let's get you to walk to the stop sign and back, and then we'll work our way up. It can be, and if you love Jesus, are you being kind? Instead of just, I want to open up my own church, but you're not even being kind to your neighbor. You're not even, you're smarting off to your spouse. You're back talking, you're being snotty, you're gossiping about people. You have unforgiveness in your heart and you want to open up a church. You ain't nailing the basics. Like, come on, so this can apply to so many areas of your life.
I remember, Christy, when I was losing weight and I was flying to come see you and I was really hungry and I was at an airport and all of a sudden, I don't know what it was, but I felt really overwhelmed. And all I could think about was all these options and it just was very complicated in that moment. And that's not like me. I'm usually really good at that. And I boxered you and I said, I was panicked. And you said, Carrie, stop. Get bacon, get eggs, sit down and eat. And I went, like, you guys can't see me, that I'm blink, 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 like, oh, and that was, you just simplified it in that moment to me. Carrie, it's not complicated. You're drinking your water, eat your food. It'll be okay. And I don't know what it was. It was just, I had it so I think, airports are so overwhelming anyway. And maybe I just didn't think I was going to get hungry. Maybe I thought I was going to be fine till I got to your house,
Yeah. And I knew you hadn't eaten. Yeah. And I was like, boy, it's going to be a while before she eats again. Maybe she better grab something,
Just get me to Christy's house. It's safe there.
That is so great about the Code Red Lifestyle, that we are basic. And the great thing about the 10-pound takedown is we walk you through it step by step. And it is so easy, you guys. It is tracking your weight, your water, and your sleep for 30 days, eating off the food list. We give you a food list of what to eat, and we tell you what to avoid. And, just thinking to yourself, I just need water, a meat, and a vegetable every meal. I mean, it really simplifies your life. And in a world that is so complicated right now and so chaotic, boy, your food and your health should not be one of your problems. And if you can just nail these basics, and we have 88% of all Americans are metabolically unwell. So if you can get the water, the weight, and the sleep, if you can drink some water, you can drink a meat, you can have a meat and a veggie every day. My gosh, nailing the basics would get our healthcare in order real quick.
Yep. In fact, that friend that texted me earlier was like, should I cut out? Should I do this? And I said, you're overcomplicating it.
Yes.
Meat, vegetable, fat.
Yeah.
That's all I want to hear from you. If you do that and you quit with all this foofy, added in, crazy crap, then you will lose weight. Just meat, vegetable, fat. Simple.
People overcomplicate all kinds of things in their life.
Yeah, that's true.
And they just don't go, let's just cut through all the crap and it's like, remember, when you go to move to a different house, it's a really great chance to declutter all the crap you have accumulated. And then you always say to yourself, as you're moving and as you're packing up your old house, how do we get all this stuff? Well, starting over in a new house is a nice way to just start over fresh with less crap.
No junk drawers yet.
Yeah, no junk drawers. That's right. 10poundtakedown.com is the best place to get started. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer for NASA or if you're a stay-at-home mother of 3. We don't care. This is the proper human diet. This is a species-specific diet. What we eat is what we were created to eat and what we have been eating for a millennia. And let us show you the right way, the proper human diet on the 10-pound takedown. Let us get back to the basics. 10poundtakedown.com. As usual, Carrie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You guys, we will see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you're not subscribed already, please be sure to do that right now. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could do me a quick favor and rate and review this podcast. That would be just so helpful. Speaking of help, let me know if I can help you. Go to CodeRedLifestyle.com, check out my programs, and see what we can do for you. Until next time, Rebel on.